No, prior video under trigonometry in my playlist, I proved the sum and difference formulas for sine, cosine, and tangent. Just recently, I seen a really nice alternative proof. There's hundreds of proofs for these. And as I said, I really like this one, and I'm going to present it here on my channel. I got it from Dr. Michael Penn's channel. Please go check it out. It's a great video, and he has great content on his channel. He, in fact, even came up with the exact value of cosine of 1 degree on the video that I'm speaking about. In fact, I'll leave a link in the description. So how about we get right into it? We have the right angle that you already see, and the outside configuration is of a rectangle. That is, I have 4 right triangles there. Now let's see what's going on. This big angle is angle alpha, because if you add beta to alpha minus beta, the betas cancel, you get alpha. And this angle right here is alpha because these two lines are parallel and theirs are transversal. Okay, so this angle right here must be 90 minus alpha, because these 3 angles add up to 180. Well, if the angle right here is 90 minus alpha, then that's angle alpha itself. And one last thing, this side is of length 1. I think that might be enough angle chasing to do this. Okay, so let's get this out of the way. Now, just looking at this blue triangle right here, right triangle, with the hypotenuse being 1, these are 2 separate angles. The top one is beta, the lower one is alpha minus beta. Now if you note, the cosine of alpha minus beta is this side over 1, which is just this side. So this length is cosine of alpha minus beta. Now, if we talk about this side right here, it's opposite. Well, with respect to angle B, it's the cosine. It's the cosine of beta over 1. That side is just cosine beta. Likewise, this side right here is sine beta. But, okay, yes, this is sine beta. Fine. Now, let's find out how long, say, this side is. Well, if I call that A for a moment, I know that the sine of alpha is A divided by the hypotenuse, which is cosine B, which I can write up here. That is, A is cosine beta sine alpha. Cosine beta times sine of alpha. Now, what about this side right here? For the same argument, it's going to be cosine alpha times the hypotenuse, cosine beta. Okay, now this side right here, well, that's the sine of alpha, this time times sine beta. Make sure you understand why I'm multiplying by their hypotenuse. I did it in this case over here, and make sure you agree with that. Now, let's see, the cosine of alpha that will tell me this side is cosine alpha times the sine of beta. And this side down here, the hypotenuse is 1, so the opposite is just the sine of alpha minus beta. Okay, and now we're ready to get our hands dirty. This right here, cosine of alpha minus beta, is equal to the sum of the two parts, this plus that. I'm going to write this first, sine alpha sine beta plus cosine alpha cosine beta. And I also proved in another video that the sine of negative t is negative sine t. That is, the minus comes in front, and cosine of negative t is just cosine of t. It doesn't care about negative or not. Well, this tells me if I let beta become negative beta, then I'm going to have cosine of alpha plus beta. And this is the sine of alpha. Maybe I should have written cosine first. It's not a big deal. Cosine alpha cosine beta plus, well, maybe it was minus. No, it must be plus. Plus sine alpha times sine beta. Now, if I replace that angle with negative beta, I get back the same answer, cosine beta. If I replace that angle with negative beta, first I'll still get sine of alpha, I'll get sine of some angle. If this angle is negative beta, it becomes the sine of beta, but that minus comes there. So it just becomes minus. And now, if I let beta, let's write it down cleanly. If I let beta equal alpha, that is, I have cosine of 2 alpha. So all the betas are alpha. So I get cosine alpha times cosine alpha, better known as cosine squared alpha minus sine alpha sine alpha. That is sine squared alpha. So I have those three trig functions for cosine. Now let us look at the sine of alpha minus beta. Well, that's right here. We have that the sine of alpha minus beta plus this plus the cosine alpha sine of beta is equal to this here, which is cosine beta sine alpha. Now, I only want to know what this is, so I'm going to bring this to the other side. It'll become minus cosine alpha sine beta. Okay, so I like to write sines first when I can. Hopefully I won't get burnt this time. Sine alpha cosine beta minus this. Again, I'll write sine first. Sine beta cosine alpha. So that came from the diagram. Now, how about we let beta become negative beta? That will give me the sine of alpha plus beta. Well, cosine of beta won't change. Angle alpha didn't change. And what happens here is when I replace the sine of, when I replace beta with negative beta, I get the sine of negative beta, but I could ignore that minus sign as long as I negate everything. So it's just minus the sine of beta, positive sine of beta, sorry, plus cosine alpha. Okay, now if I let alpha, the second time that happened, if I let beta, I meant to say, if I now let beta become alpha, so now I'll get sine of alpha plus alpha, 2 alpha. So I have sine alpha times cosine alpha plus, the same thing, sine alpha, cosine alpha. If I add the same thing 2 times, if I add this to itself 2 times, I get 2 times it. If I add this to itself 118 times, I get 118 times that. In either case, there is your double angle formula for sine of double angle sums and differences. Now, it's up to you if you want to memorize their tangent. But, we know that tangent of any angle is equal to the sine of that angle divided by the cosine of that angle. Well, we have these. It's this sine alpha cosine beta minus sine beta cosine alpha divided by this top equation here. Cosine alpha cosine beta plus sine alpha sine beta. Now, there it is. There's a formula for tangent of alpha minus beta. If you don't like that one because it doesn't have sines and cosines, what you can do, and I'm hoping that I present this correctly, if you divide the numerator by sine alpha cosine beta sine alpha cosine beta, maybe that's not the best thing to divide by. See if I can see something nicer. How about we divide by cosine alpha cosine beta? Cosine alpha times cosine beta all over. Now I have to do the exact same thing to the bottom. I'll divide this by cosine alpha cosine beta cosine alpha cosine beta, and let us look at each of these 4 fractions. Let's make it crystal clear that there's a plus in the middle here. Now, on the first fraction, this cancels out, and you're left with tangent alpha minus from there. The cosine alphas cancel out, and you're left with that, which is tangent beta over, this cancels out to 1, that cancels out to 1, you get 1, plus that there, which is tangent alpha, times that there, which is tangent beta. So now we have a nice formula for tangent of alpha minus beta. Now, what happens to tangent of negative beta? Well, it's the same as sine of negative beta over the cosine of negative beta. In the numerator, the negative sign can come out in front, and it's negative sine beta. And for cosine of negative beta, it's just cosine of beta. So what we get is negative tangent beta. That is, tangent of negative beta is negative tangent of beta. Okay, so let's get the equivalent of the other two formulas for tangent. What is tangent of alpha plus beta? That is, I'm going to replace beta with negative beta. So I get tangent alpha minus the tangent of negative beta. But the tangent of negative beta is negative tangent beta. Changing that minus sign to positive. Divided by 1. It should be plus. Well, it is plus at this point. Let's see what it ends up with. Tangent of alpha is just that. Oh, the tangent of negative beta. That's negative tangent beta. So there's their tangent sum rule. Now, one last one. What if beta is just alpha? So now we have the tangent of alpha plus alpha, which is 2 alphas. Tangent of alpha plus tangent of alpha, that's 2 tangent alpha. Divided by 1 minus tangent alpha times tangent beta is tangent squared alpha. And there's the formula for that. And it involves tangents. You know, you could just have easily said tangent is sine 2 alpha divided by cosine 2 alpha, which is this over that. And that's going to be exactly the same as this. Okay, I do not walk around knowing this one. I don't know this one. I can see this one real quickly in my head. But if you ask me without thinking, just from knowledge, is the tangent a negative function or a positive function? It's a positive function if this negative sign can just go away, or if it has to come in front, it's called an odd function. But I can see this really quickly in my head. I see just one minus sign coming out. Okay, that completes this video. If you like videos like this where we prove things all the time, consider subscribing to my channel. Once again, go check out Dr. Michael's Pen YouTube channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Click the like button, leave a comment, watch and learn.